Hi there, I'm Michael Hill with Canine Chronicle TV, and today I'm here with Blake Hansen. And for our influencer series, we're going to find out who was influential in his start in the sport of dogs. How are you, Blake?
Great. Thanks for having me. I'm doing good.
Oh, awesome. We're great. Well, it's great to see you, and we're so glad to have you here. So, why don't we jump right in? How did you first get involved in the sport?
Well, my mother went to a grooming college, and basically, she had to, as an assignment, she had to go to a dog show. So she took me along, and we passed by the junior showmanship ring, and I noticed some friends from school that did it, and that's how I got started. I got hooked right away.
Wow. And so, what was the first breed that kind of caught your eye at that point?
I always really liked Newfoundlands, for some reason. I think they're beautiful breed. Never ever
Go
got
big or go
into them.
home.
Never shown one, but definitely that was one of the first breeds that always caught my eye at the dog show.
I think that's pretty cool though, because I think that is something you do see at dog shows. You see these specific, purebreds that you might not see every day. You might not see a Newfoundland walking down the street, but it kind of catches your eye for that distinction that it has.
Absolutely.
So your mom's getting involved in grooming. You guys go to a dog show and you see junior handling, junior showmanship. How did that start? Progressing into more involvement in dog shows. Did you get a dog that was a show dog? Did you use somebody else's? Find a mentor?
Well, we really got into the Carrier Blues. It was right after Mick really got famous and popular, and watching him and Bill was just an inspiration. So, to me, I think a done up Carrier Blue. There's nothing more stunning at a dog show. So we got
True
our
work of
first
art.
Carrier. Yeah, we got our first Carrier Blue. He actually never finished. So I got another dog that he didn't. He really never loved the show, but the one we got, we traveled all over the world. She was a lot of fun to show. It wasn't the best carry for the confirmation ring, but she was the perfect junior dog.
Amazing. Just to get your feet wet, get you in the ring and learning those things.
Absolutely, yes. Some days, she looked more like a Bedlington, but she took us far. Got to go to the World Show in Sweden, and
Really?
definitely had some big opportunities. So I'm very lucky to have had Charm in my life.
So with those first dogs, who were some dog people who might have been, kind of key mentors and guides in that process?
Well, I have to say in the beginning, all the carry breeders are always, even still to this day, they're the best. I mean, if any breed I've still handled for, I think carry people are the most passionate and welcoming and very helpful. As for me getting started in the breed and showing and handling and all that, the three most influential people in my life, I'd have to say, were Ron Miniker, Frank Sabella, and Joe Jolly. Those guys, I mean,
That's a
they
combo.
taught me they taught me so much, the ins and outs. I worked for many professional handlers and definitely learned the business and the little things, but those guys really taught me the dog world and how to move around. And I was very fortunate.
Let's talk through each of them. How did you first meet Ron, and what was that? What did that impart on you the most?
Well, my parents moved to Jupiter, Florida, and mom got to know Ron and Lorna very well, and over the years became friends and holidays, and just spending a lot of time outside of dog shows. So
Mm. I think that also too is something that the newer person might not find right away or recognize as a part of dog shows. But you do meet people who become like actual parts of your life or your family, or in a way, because you're spending so much time with them at these dog shows. But then you end up kind of by default coming into their orbit and sharing life with them too, weddings,
oh,
holidays, all that stuff.
absolutely, yeah. No, the dogs world is full of special people, and it's really amazing the people you get to meet, and we always feel. I think a lot of people forget we met because of the dogs.
Right.
So
Well, I think that's the best part about it, is that the one common denominator is the dogs, and then you have every other variable possible all coming together in the same space.
absolutely, yeah. No, I mean, we're very lucky to have dogs in our world. I mean, they bring everyone together some way or another.
100%. And so, what about Frank? How did you first come in contact with Frank, and what did you learn from him?
Well, once again, he lived in Jupiter, and we met him through Ron and Lorna. And Frank was always really there for me. I mean, it's the hardest parts of my life. He was someone that could really just, bring me up and tell me to get with it and get my life together and stuff like that, and kick me in the butt.
Yeah,
So I mean, he was a very
holding you
colorful
accountable.
person. Yep, he was a very colorful person and never held back, and I always appreciate that.
No filter.
Yep.
And then remind me who your third was. I'm blanking for a second.
Joe Jolly.
Joe. And then tell us about that. How did you first meet Joe? What did he teach you?
Well, he was a special person. I mean, he was an incredible breeder. And I think as a judge, he was just one of the most special people. I mean, he was always welcoming. I mean, very rarely did you ever hear anyone say anything about Joe. Everyone, new exhibitors, experienced exhibitors, they were just always, he just welcomed everybody with a smile every time he walked in his ring. And as a young
Mm,
kid, he was just always giving me advice and always there for me. And he taught me a lot about breeding and animal husbandry. And I mean, he really taught me the ins and outs of taking care of dogs and breeding dogs. So
right. That's the foundation of what we're doing, right? You can do all this travel and all
absolutely,
this winning, but you have to keep the dog alive and happy and healthy at the bare
that's it, and
minimum.
that's the most important part. I mean, that's everything else is you learn along the way, but taking care of the dogs is first and foremost.
Paramount. And so now you're in a place where you're in a pretty great spot in your career. You're having a lot of fun with a great dog. When you're in that position, I'm sure you also probably encounter a lot of newer people or less experienced people who, might ask your opinion or your advice. What are some things that you might explicitly share with people, or at least that you're kind of keeping front of mind when you're having those interactions, so that you can also make an impact in the way that those three did to you?
Well, I mean, everyone needs to remember kindness. I mean, a quick 30 seconds, 2 seconds, bump on the shoulder in a crowd, you could turn someone off from dog shows. People that just walking into the building for the first time, everyone needs to remember you're being watched 24/7. And, I think
Right.
the beautiful thing about dog shows are, I mean, it's so welcoming to all different people, and I mean, we're a very accepting community, and we want to
And
keep it
welcome
that way.
dog.
We want to keep it nice and kind, and win or
A safe
lose, you got to
space.
keep it. Yeah, win or lose, you got to keep a straight face and keep happy, and because someone's watching you and you're inspiring somebody, you definitely,
Right.
and you don't want to do the opposite. So it's very
Yes, I
important.
mean, there's a power either way. You have the power to either make somebody's life and career like those people did for you, or to turn them away and have them never come back.
Absolutely. I mean, I've heard so many stories where someone just said the simplest compliment, and to this day they stuck with dog shows, and it's so important that you can
Yeah,
make that kind of impact in 2 seconds with somebody.
right. I remember those moments too, where you see somebody and they're at the top of their game, and you think that they'll never even acknowledge you, and then it takes one look, one moment, one acknowledgement of your dog, and it like changes the trajectory of the rest of your life.
Absolutely, yeah. So dog shows are a special place, and like I said, it takes all of us to keep it that way.
I think that's a great point, where it's something that we can't take for granted. It's a living, breathing organism that requires our consistent, maintenance, just like the dogs who are competing in it need us too.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. That's why I always say it's a dog show family. Everybody, we're all here because we have the same thing in common. We love dogs.
I love that. That's amazing. Well, Blake, that's a perfect note to end on. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy year to share with us, and we wish you all the best of luck as you keep at it.
Thanks. Thank you so much for inviting me.
It's my pleasure, Blake. Have a great day. Talk to you later.